I think they'd make him an offer. I just don't know.
Okay.
I mean, Howie's creative, and and it's going to be up to Howie's going to have it. I mean, this is why they pay him the big bucks. He's going to have to decide after this year. Let's assume Jalen has a very good year. Well, now it's Howie's turn to say, did we just see the real thing? Is he just going to keep getting better going forward? Because that's been his history, that he's improved every year he's played the game, or has he hit a ceiling? I mean, he's going to have to decide that. If he decides that he's still going to keep getting better, and they've played well this year and they go deep into the playoffs, he may be brave and say, we'll give you a lot of money, Jalen. Here's what we're offering you.
Countdown is on to the start of the 2022 NFL season, and the Birds report tomorrow. We'll be leading up to it, talking about it, taking you through it, all the way up to the beginning of the regular season. We appreciate you streaming in at Birds 365. Johnny Mac, Jody Mac, and our buddy Paul Domowitch, good enough to hop aboard to get this week off on the right foot for us. Johnny, if you don't mind, let me get the first question in here, because I don't think we've had Domo comment on this before. Paul Domowitch, how moved, excited, out of your seat with excitement are you about the new Eagle black helmet?
Oh, man.
I'm glad you gave that one to Damo. I'm glad.
I had to take medication for the palpitations.
Sorry about that. Good.
Not very.
Yeah. Do people not know they're just reaching into your back pocket and taking money? Now, hey, if you like it, fans, great. If that's your thing, but just realize it's a money grab. It's not about looks. It's not about anything else. It's not about, I don't know, but to me, a lot of people don't realize that they're, they're just taking more money from you. But that's
John and I have gone down this road before, Damo. And neither one of us is moved by uniform changes. We kind of forget about them as soon as the game is over and done with. And we talked about it before. But some people, new Eagle fans, old Eagle fans, just love to talk about the new and changed uniform, jersey or helmet or whatever else. I kind of care about the football, not what they dress the players up as. But there are some Eagle fans and fans across and it's not just Eagles. Don't get me wrong. I'm not putting this on Eagle fans. This is every fan across the National Football League. They get nuts about these uniform changes. And John is exactly right. It's all about putting money in the owner's pockets. It doesn't grab you either, huh? You're with McMullen and I here that you don't really care what they look like when they make plays.
It's amazing though. You don't see this in other sports. The fans getting excited when the Phillies, make a change to their uniform top, or I don't know.
I think it's a big deal in soccer with the kits. They have different kits. I do think people got a little bit upset about the NBA when they started putting advertising on there, which makes sense. And then I always remember the Charles Barkley quote when the Sixers changed their uniform to this garish. It was ugly, but and Charles said it looks like they gave a crayon to my daughter and came up with that, which I thought was great. That's the kind of stuff I like. But from a standpoint, if I ask you, Dama, what did the Eagles wear in Tampa Bay during the playoff loss? I don't know. I got to go back and look at the video. I got 5 minutes after the game ended. I would have to look at the highlights. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
I can't remember what color they wore for the Super Bowl in Minneapolis.
Oh, either can I. I would have to look at the highlights. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, which I'm proud of, by the way.
Damo, Johnny Mac came up with his very initial first token hope at 53 men to make the Eagles before the season started, but he did so before the Eagles signed Jaquan Hardy, and they haven't even officially signed Jaquan Hardy yet, but a bunch of reports out there have him very interested in, and he's going to report today, and we'll see if he walks out with a contract. Are you one of those guys who believes, no, I'm sorry, once you've played for the Dallas Cowboys, you're tainted? that you should never put on that Eagle green, Kelly green, midnight green, black with trim, whatever color uniform the Eagles are wearing. You should never wear it if you once wore the Dallas Cowboys star on your helmet. You one of those?
Well, you guys are asking me some really tough questions this morning.
Yes. We're starting out with the top ones.
I'm not one of those, Jody.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Wouldn't
And those Eagle fans, this I will signify the Eagle fans specifically.
That said,
they annoy me.
Yeah, that said, I don't know where Hardy fits in here. I mean, they clearly want a power back this year. But I think he's going to have competition, so we'll see.
Yeah, it makes some sense, Damo, because I do think, he's 225 pounds, if we're to believe. I did see when he worked out from the mighty football powerhouse of Tippin University. He was coming out, he was like listed at 212. Now he's 225. But it always made some sense to me that the Eagles would bring in a younger big back with no injury history versus Jordan Howard, because let's face it, I mean, he's always banged up. And to a certain degree, with this offensive line, everybody's going to get 4.5 yards per carry. So to me, it makes some sense if they go younger at sort of that big back need.
Yeah, and I think if they have a power back that can be efficient in third and short, it's also going to make Jalen Hurts' ability to keep and on some of those runs more effective. When they have to pay attention to a guy like Hardy or whomever on that, between the tackles, it's going to loosen things up for Hurts if he does keep the ball. So I think that goes into their thinking with why they want definitely want a power back that can be effective this year.
To follow up real quick, sorry, Jody. With Jalen, because of Jalen's effectiveness running the ball, doesn't he help that back as well? More than normal. And in other words, Boston Scott's great at it. But, there's seems to be this, he's so small. He's not really small. He's short. Why not just let Boston Scott have that job? It's a little think outside the box. I mean, it was effective last year. Jalen helps with the spacing. Am I crazy there or not?
No, I mean, I think they always will have their doubts about a guy his size, but he's proven that he can do the job. I think they just want as many options going into training camp as possible. I mean, if Boston Scott shows in the preseason that he can do that, we may not see guys like Jalen Hardy for once the season starts. So I don't know. I think they just want to keep their options open.
Speaking of between the tackles and keeping their option open, you think that there is an actual competition for right guard, or does Isaac Seumalo either have to get hurt or lose the job to not be the Eagles' right guard starter?
I don't think it's they're throwing the ball up in the air and best man wins. I think it's Seumalo's job to lose, but I don't think they're confident because of the fact that how many games he's missed over the last 2 seasons, whether he's going to be able to stay healthy even this summer. I think they want to see what happens with with Elise Frank, whether it's completely healed, whether he can stay healthy. Plus, Driscoll is a good player, but I think in an ideal world, they would like to have, if Seumalo can stay healthy and play like he did before he got hurt, they've got themselves an ideal right guard to give them basically a 5 men up front with no weaknesses, and then you've got the ideal swingman, inside outside guy in Driscoll. I think that's what they would like. That's if they could paint a picture, that's the way it would look. But it all depends on Seumalo.
They are so deep on the offensive line compared to other teams. I mean, you had Cam Jurgens in the mix, and there's going to be, I always call it a ramp-up period, startup cost, whatever you want to call it, for any rookie player. But he's got starting level traits. There's no question about that. And even Suo Peta, I mean, he played last year, and I've seen worse offensive linemen. I see him every week in the NFL. I'm not trying to say he's the Tesla stock that Jason Kelsey called him, but He didn't embarrass himself. They're 9 deep at least, and that's with Brett Toth not being healthy. He proved he could play a little bit. It's pretty amazing how deep
And
they
Howie,
are on the
it
offensive
leaves
line.
Howie with I wouldn't call it a dilemma, but I mean, he's seen what you can do, what happens, when people start to go down and you don't have depth. So I don't think he wants to shed depth here. He'd rather be, overstocked than understocked. But he's going to get feelers during training camp when people go down for Andre Dillard, for a couple of other people. It'll be interesting to see what his reaction is. I mean, does he still want more draft picks next year and the year after? Is he, I mean, how would he look at that? Or would he rather just hang on to Dillard in case a worst case scenario happens and, Jordan Mailata's back goes out again or something like that? So my guess is that he's not going to be quick to get rid of anybody unless there's just an offer he can't refuse.
Damo, I asked you about the competition, non-competition at right guard.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a couple of positions on this Eagle team as of right now that there is a legit competition. I just don't think it's right guard. But there are some that you can say, well, it's close enough that the better man should win. But how do you go about determining the better man? Johnny referenced our buddy Reuben Frank's column in NBC Sports. He's guesstimating the Eagles are going to have 19 whole hours of prep time going into the first game of the season with CBA restricted amounts of time that you can do, the Eagles' own choosing. How do you really decide? I keep asking this to John and everybody else who comes on. How important are those 4 joint practices that they're going to have this year? Because off last year, it seems like that's the season was decided in those joint practices. Is that where the actual Eagle battles for positions and snaps and everything else are going to be won or lost?
Well, the interesting thing about these joint practices this year are that they're late. I believe
yeah,
the last game, which you get that close to the end. You don't want these guys going out there and getting too physical because you're afraid of injuries at that point, let alone at the beginning. So, I don't even know how revealing those joint practices are going to be as far as deciding, any lingering issues as far as who's going to start. I mean, my sense is he already knows who he wants. If the people he believes are going to be his starters stay healthy, I think it's already been pretty much decided.
How about the rookies, though, Damo? Because there are rookies that are expected to step in. We talked about Juergens. He's not. That's fine. He's a luxury pick. Although that's what they said last year about Landon Dickerson. You never know. And all of a sudden, you got to throw him into the deep end of the pool. Jordan Davis is expected to play. Nakobe Dean. Jody's got him in the Pro Bowl week 1. How do you get ready? How do you get ready as a rookie with 5 OTA practices and 19 hours over the summer? Are we expecting too much out of rookies, at least in Philadelphia?
Well, you look around the league, and I think the spring has really hurt development of young players, particularly quarterbacks. I say that, and then you see people like Justin Herbert and Joey Burrow do what they do. But for the most part, what they've done to the spring isn't good in my mind, and isn't good in the minds of a lot of people, including coaches. But it's what they gave up. It's what the owners gave up in exchange for things like an extra game, basically for more money. I think they're more concerned, with a guy like Nakobe Dean. I think they're banking on the fact that if he knows what he's doing, he can play. So they just hope that all the mental reps they've given him and will give him this spring, that he'll know what he's supposed to do, and then they'll put him out there. They'll find the situations early on that he's comfortable with. With Dean, one thing that's going to be interesting from my standpoint with him is his ability to blitz. I don't think they've had I can't remember the last time they've had a linebacker with his blitzing ability. Now,
probably Michael would be close. Michael could blitz, but they didn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is Gannon going to blitz much? I think he's going to use the weapons he's got, and he's got some impressive weapons with Davis and Dean, because you can move Jordan Davis all over the place. I mean, he is not just a run plugging nose tackle that you're going to sit down there, in the one gap and for him to stop the run on first down. I mean, this is a guy I think you can move outside in pass rush situations, because what tackle or tight end, when he gets going, and he ran I was checking his 10 splits at the combine.
Yeah,
they were as good as anybody, any defensive end.
Yeah.
So I mean, you put a guy with his power coming off the edge, running into an offensive tackle or a poor tight end that's going to try to keep him from the quarterback, you're going to have some problems. So, I mean, I think this guy is, you can really, Gannon's got a lot of people he can move around. He can go big. He can go big outside. He can go, I mean, there's just so much, is he going to play Hassan Reddick off the balls some? Is he going to move him, have him up in the line of scrimmage all the time? These are the questions that are going to kind of be problems for an offense that they're going to be playing against this year. And I think it's going to make that defense really good.
Just to set the record straight, yours truly did come up just short of putting Nakobe Dean in the Pro Bowl. What I did do was I thought that he would be one of the top 25 players on the Eagles this year, which John McMullen did not in his preseason top 25. So
it's a deep team. It's a deep team.
So we have the record straight.
I'm sorry, Joe.
Jalen Hurts. We talked about it last week. Haven't got a chance to get your take on it. There are quarterback contracts being done around the league. Kyler Murray signed his. At some point, Lamar Jackson's going to sign his, and I think it will be above and beyond what Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson got, not in guaranteed money for comparison to Deshaun Watson, but I think he'll be over $230 million plus dollars. The high tide raises all boats, which means Jalen Hurts' price is going up and up and up and up and up. Now, there's nothing the Eagles can do about it right now, because you couldn't give him a contract extension if they wanted to, because it's against the rules in the National Football League. But Howie Roseman's got to be clocking this. He's got to be on top of this. How much will the price of quarterback play across the National Football League factor into how the Eagles evaluate the season Jalen Hurts has?
Well, I mean, Howie's always been smart about this in the fact that he knows the price is only going to go up. Lamar Jackson still is the next guy that's going to sign. And you got Burrow and Herbert, who, unless their teams end up waiting until, their option year and just keep this thing lingering because they can't afford to pay what they're going to be asking, the quarterback price is going to go up. Now, the big question here is, what kind of year is Jalen going to have? If we're assuming he has a terrific year, then the ball's in Howie's court. Jalen's not going to command even, let's assume he has a very good year, but not a sensational year. He's not going to command what Kyler Murray just got.
No.
He's just, I mean, there's not enough of there's just,
let me interrupt. What if he does? What if the Eagles win 11 games, win the division, and win that first playoff round, and then play very competitively in the next round? May or may not win. Jalen Hurts plays well in a game. They lose because of defense. He's got one playoff win, which would surpass Kyler Murray, who doesn't have one yet. Why couldn't he jump to Kyler Murray's level?
Well, let's keep in mind they had a quarterback named Carson Wentz, who was playing at an MVP
so Carson's going to cost Jalen money, huh?
Well, I'm just saying, you cannot.
He might.
On the guy. I mean, you cannot make him a Hall of Famer if he has a terrific year. Do you want more proof before you pay him that kind of money? Before you guarantee him $160 million or whatever Kyler Murray's been guaranteed?
So you think they'd ask him to play on the last year of his rookie deal?
I think they'd make him an offer. I just don't know.
Okay.
I mean, Howie's creative, and it's going to be up to Howie's going to have it. I mean, this is why they pay him the big bucks. He's going to have to decide after this year let's assume Jalen has a very good year. Well, now it's Howie's turn to say, did we just see the real thing? Is he just going to keep getting better going forward? Because that's been his history, that he's improved every year he's played the game, or has he hit a ceiling? I mean, he's going to have to decide that. If he decides that he's still going to keep getting better, and they've played well this year and they go deep into the playoffs, he may be brave and say, we'll give you a lot of money, Jalen, here's what we're offering you. And then the ball's back in his court. So I don't know. I just think it's to be determined right now. I don't think we know how this is going to play out until we see what kind of year Jalen has.
To kind of further that Jalen discussion, Damo, Nick Sirianni did his embargo session with us that we can now talk about. But but since he's got here, he says when he talks about quarterbacks, he says there's sports traits he looks at: accuracy, decision making, movement skills, extending plays off schedule, stuff like that, and arm strength. Jalen checks two of those boxes from the Eagles' perspective. Obviously, the off schedule stuff he's phenomenal at. And arm strength, which surprises people. The Eagles think he's fine. And any issues you might see are involved with not getting the ball out quick enough on deep throws and things like that, trusting his reads, things of that nature. Now, recently, he still says accuracy is number one, and that's a concern. But he's starting to think that the off-schedule stuff is right there with decision-making as far as importance with this particular player. And he said, I think his quote was, sometimes you don't know what you have until you have it. And it's that spectacular. Should the Eagles just start forgetting about this, try to make him into a pocket quarterback, try to get the football, try to throw the football, and just take advantage of what he does well? Would they think about that? Is that worth $35 million to them? Or do you think Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman are too? No, we need Joe Burrow. We need Justin Herbert. Or will they go, and start thinking, well, what he does well, he does really well. So let's accentuate that. Could you see the Eagles going down that path?
To a certain degree, yeah. I don't think they want him to be a pocket passer. I mean, this isn't, and again, go back to Wentz, where, they were so afraid after the ACL of him getting hurt that's basically what they wanted him to do. I mean, Jalen Hurts, and I think I said this last time I was on, running is always going to be a critical part of his game, just like it is with Lamar Jackson, just like it is with Kyler Murray. I mean, this is today's quarterback. And Jalen's got, Jalen's unlike Lamar, and Lamar's a make you miss kind of guy. Jalen's more of a fullback, which is good because he's more durable to be able to do that. That said, one of the things I'm going to be interested in seeing, so I do think the off schedule stuff is going to continue to be important. But he needs to stay when he's, on plays when he's in the pocket, he needs to keep that clock running and know when he's exhausted, when he needs to get out of there. But he can't leave too quickly. And that's the biggest struggle for a guy that with his running ability is that, at the first sign of problems, you want to get out of there. And he can't quite do that. But, one of the things that concerned me last year was he couldn't go to his left.
Yeah.
And teams started taking away his right. I mean, they would have that either a linebacker or someone rushing wide so that, when he would go to his right, he might get outside, but it would take him an extra 20 yards to get there because they weren't giving him the quick ability to get outside. And when he would go to his left, he just could not be accurate.
Tampa killed him with that. Tampa, great game plan from that perspective.
Yes. Now, he's worked out. I don't know which quarterback trainers he's worked with out in California. Most cases it's I don't know that it's all that beneficial. Coaches would rather they worked in the with their coaches at the training facility, but they can't do that until April. So, I credit him for at least going and trying to improve his mechanics. Yeah. Is he going to be any better at that? I don't know. And I think that's going to be a critical component for him this year, his ability to run to the left and throw, because if he can keep defenses honest going left, it's also going to make him better going to his right, where he's much more accurate. There's just a lot of questions right now we don't know. Questions about how much better he's gotten at things like that, how Nick's going to, where RPOs figure in this year. So we don't know, we just don't know a lot about this offense until we see it out in the field. And even then, we're probably not going to see a whole lot until the season starts.
Damo, one of the most intriguing players for the Eagles this upcoming year, at least for me, is going to be A.J. Brown. And we know that the Eagles gave up a lot to get him, gave him a big contract, expect him to produce here in Philadelphia. And 2 games in, 4 games in, 6 games in, 8 games in, we're going to be able to check the numbers and evaluate for ourselves how big A.J. Brown's addition has been. But then there's the other aspect of it, of how a player handles himself and the demeanor that he shows. We don't know A.J. Brown. He wasn't here before. So we're going to have to watch him and evaluate him. Sometimes when players get that huge new contract and that big payday, they go, all right, I'm good. And they just go out and do their job. Some guys make it a challenge. Uh-oh, now I'm making this I got to raise my game. Different guys handle those type of deals differently. How much does the demeanor from A.J. Brown mean to you? Are you a guy who just says, hey, hand me the stat sheet after the game, I'll be able to tell you what kind of player he is? Or do you look into it that much more as to how a guy goes about doing his business in a season, specifically a new guy like A.J. Brown?
Well, 2 things with him. One, I look at the offense he came from. I mean, he played in an offense that basically was revolved around Derrick Henry. So he's used to an offense where he's not going to get, 180 targets. So, he's making a lot of money, and I think he's happy about that. I also think the leadership ability of the quarterback is going to play into the happiness of the wide receivers if they don't get the touches maybe that they think. I think Jalen has the ability and the respect of these guys that they wouldn't squawk if they're, they'd come and talk to him and say, hey, I think something, I think I can get open on this play, things like that. But I don't think you're going to see any, OJ, some Beckham stuff, things like that, where you got people in people's face and complaining to the coaches, like Antonio Brown used to do. So I don't think there are going to be problems, Jody, is a short answer to that.
He is Paul Domowitch. Read him at the 33rdteam.com. He's also going to be back doing the stats package for JAKIBsports.com. Hopefully some Dick Vermeil stuff at the Hall of Fame. Domo, have fun out there as well. I'll leave it on defense, because one of the frustrating things I hear, pet peeve of mine, is the Eagles are going to be 3-4, 4-3. They're going to be neither. They're going to be multiple fronts. You kind of mentioned it a little bit with Jordan Davis. They have the Sam linebackers working with the defensive ends together with Jeremiah Washburn. They've shown all the signs. Why does that trope die so hard? Why is everyone so concerned about 4-3 or 3-4, especially in the modern NFL when you have a nickel corner on the field 65% of the time anyway?
Good question, John. I mean, sub packages are like 65, 70, even 75% of what people play now. So, it really doesn't matter what they play on first down. Like I said earlier, I mean, I think what Gannon wants to do this year is not have anybody be able to characterize this defense. I think he's got the versatility now to do so many different things with this unit, particularly up front and with the linebackers, that I think that's going to be one of that defense's strengths this year.
All right. I need a big prediction out of you here, Damo. And I hope you get to join John and get some grass time this year. So I'm asking your opinion on other people's opinions as well. It never fails. Every year, there is one receiver. And when I say receiver, it could be a tight end, a wide receiver, a back coming out of the backfield. But there is one guy who is new to the Philadelphia Eagles, rookie, brought in, free agent, whatever else, who in shorts and a T-shirt makes a couple of plays and the fever kicks in, that this guy is going to be the greatest receiver ever in the National Football League. And we used to be able to put the blame on the fans because they'd be out there at Lehigh. Oh, my God, did you see player X and fill in the blank? Now it's just down to you media guys. And some overstate it, and the fans catch it, and they run with it. And I don't need to name names, do I? Nelson Aguilar, J.J. Arcega, Whiteside.
I forgot about those. Go to Paul Turner. the Paul Turner Award.
Paul Turner Award, exactly right.
Femi Moma. Remember Femi? 6'7", Femi Moma.
Yeah,
Carlton
yeah.
Agudosi. He was one of my favorites. Yeah, it's always a receiver, Tomo. Always a receiver.
Who is this year's receiver? Newbie on the block, not been in Eagle camp before, that is going to make one or two plays and somebody's going to send him off to Canton. Of the new Eagle receivers this year, which one is most likely to achieve that?
Well, Jody, I'm not going to pick a new guy. I'm going to pick a guy that people have basically put in the ground.
Really?
Yeah, do it.
JJ.
Oh, I thought you were going Jalen. I thought you were going to give Jalen right.
I mean, I wasn't out to the OTAs, but John tells me he's put on about, since the move to tight end.
Yeah, JJ. Yeah.
15 pounds. I think he's going to make this team as one of the tight ends.
Wow. Yeah, he's 237 listed at JJ. Up from 225.
Don't give up on him yet. He makes a few plays early, gets some confidence. Never can tell.
We shall see. Yeah,
they need a backup tight end. They really do.
He would be the first. Well, no, Paul Turner actually did have a couple of years. He was a guy, and then he died down, and then came back in the next spring. He was the same guy again. So JJ, this could be a second time this happens for JJ because they well overstated what he was when he was a rookie too. But new position, new possibility. Like it, Domo.
This might help me get a positive letter from his mother. His
mother's nice, but that picture came out when she was at training camp during this rookie season with the parasol. And JJ was standing under. That's not fair, though. That's not fair.
Some of you nice guys cut him some slack for that. Good for you too. Damo, you are heading out to Canton?
I am. Yes, next Wednesday.
You don't have to drive with Werndell, do you?
Yes, I do. And I'm looking forward to it, though.
He'll talk your ear off. That's for damn sure. Damo, great stuff always. And if we don't have you on, we'll wait till after you get back from Canton so you can share all your insights from that with us here on Birds 365. Thanks for sharing today.
You're welcome. Anytime, guys. Take care.